Mr. Daya.
Hi.
Welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much.
We would love to hear a little about you, sir. Mr. Daya is the founder and CEO, is it, of TalentOnLease, which is a HR platform. And I'll let you tell a little more about how you function and how is it different from other hiring agencies that are there in the market.
Sure, definitely. I think something that I would like to kind of emphasize here before I tell you what we do is that we put a lot of focus on human intelligence versus the so-called artificial intelligence. But let me come to the platform now. TalentOnLease is a tech hiring platform. And, we basically are experts in providing talent on demand basis.
Okay.
Right? So what we have done is we have created an ecosystem or created a pool where any company which has a hiring need, which takes a lot of time in today's time to hire a resource, particularly in the field of IT, we cut down on that. So there are two things that we give to our clients in terms of value that we only offer. One is the time and efficiency. The second is the value in terms of when we present a candidate. We have understood the requirement from the company as to what exactly they are looking for, and our ability to match that solution is pretty high actually. So
Right.
that's what differentiates us.
Right. So why is it called talent on lease? Does that mean that the candidate stays on your roles and the company is hiring the company for the resources, or how does it
So originally when we started, the whole concept was how do we create an on-demand economy from a talent's point of view, right? So what we have done, we had created a network of B2B partner ecosystem where we partnered with the IT service companies, we partnered with the staffing and recruitment companies, from where our ability to give the candidates at a very, very fast pace to our clients, the relevant candidates, right? So more focus on quality, more focus on agility. So these were the two things that we built our network around it, and that's how the name Talent on Lease came.
Yeah.
Right? So
And how does the business model work, since now talent on lease has to get paid and then you have HR companies also that partner with you?
right. So the business model is very simple, but it actually depends on the company, what is the need that the company has. And then there are, basis on that, different engagement models. You would appreciate that each company has a unique need, right? So in our sense, what happens is that if the company is looking for a hiring solution, they want to hire somebody on their payrolls in their team, that's something as a service or solution which is available with Talent on Lease. Model is quite different there, right? The second model is wherein there is a specific project that a company wish to execute in a specific time period, wherein they don't want to worry about the whole ramp up and ramp down issues of the entire team, right? So our ability to quickly ramp up the team and ramp down the team is purely on a contractual basis.
Right.
So we come in as a front face for them, and in the back end we work with the partner ecosystem. So a company has to only make one understanding with us, and in the back end we make understanding with the partner ecosystem.
Got it. And how long has it been, sir?
So we've been about 3+ years now. We just started just before Corona,
Okay.
2019 around, when we started the business model, with the acquisition of customers, and ever since, I think, it's been 3+ years that
Right.
we have been seeing some upward growth and improvements and efficiencies built into business model
Right.
over a period of time.
Sure. And what is the kind of revenue we are clocking right now?
So last year we did 3+ million USD turnover, and we are aiming to kind of achieve the same numbers this year. As you know that this is the toughest, most time period in the industry, right? We've just been around for 3 years, but people who have been around for 3 decades,
Yeah.
they have told me that this is the worst ever period that they have seen in their life. And if this is the time when they had started their initiative or the company, they would have had faced a lot of issues with regards to sustainability. So if we are able to hit the same level of revenues, or we stay close by to that, that's the aim for this year. Because this year, if it has not given us growth in terms of revenue, it has given us a lot of growth in terms of putting a solid business model in place to the kind of the turbulent time or unpredictable time, that's something that we are aiming at earning this year.
Sure. And how big is the team right now?
So in terms of team, our current size is less than 50 employees, which is pure the operation and the sourcing and everything, operation, sourcing, marketing, sales. But we as a startup, we operate very lean. So we work in a model where we outsource a lot of activities which are not core to us, right? So we have engaged people on the legal compliance side. We have engaged people on the finance and the other side, and the sales and marketing side. So we work very closely with the outsourced partners who are the subject matter experts to make sure that we stay lean, and at the same time we get best of the minds from the industry with a lot of relevant experience.
Right. And have there this season of layoffs that we can call it, how has that impacted the work, so to say?
As I said that this is like a turbulent time of decades from the a point of view of people who have been around, as I mentioned, that more than 3 decades or so. So industry is definitely going through a lot of reorganization at this point of time in terms of how the manpower was engaged in the past, right? So there are 2-3 things I think. One is obviously there was a lot of hiring that took place during the COVID time. So there is an adjustment to that. There is a bit of economy, the pressure, which is also reflecting on this scenario, which is leading to this. But then there are emerging trends, which are like AI-driven, initiatives. So AI has been able to augment a lot of things which was being done by a lot of workforce on ground today. So, I remember this classical discussion with one of my clients, and they had a team of 60 people working on a particular task. These 2-3 things have really impacted the industry a lot, and is also shaping the industry for
Right. True. So, would you like to tell us a little about your background on how you thought of getting started in a domain like this?
Sure, I will definitely. So I am by profession, I've come from IT field, right? So I'm an IT professional. I started my career in 1994, worked in the IT service company for 6 years, and then I had this corporate stint of almost 13 years where I worked with one of the largest consumer durable conglomerate. I served them LG, and I served them as CIO. So I have been very close to IT, and I've delivered a lot of IT digital transformation projects within the organization, which got even industry recognition and awards by the industry bodies. So I've seen IT very closely. One thing that, around 2013, 12-13, when I was thinking of taking a plunge in the entrepreneur side, there were 2 things shaping up in the industry at that point of time. One was on-demand economy, right? The second one was the personalization or contextualization. These 2 things. So keeping these 2 things, I had to take this decision that, what I wish to do. And I started with the concept of CIO on demand at that point of time. And this current avatar of, what I'm doing is kind of extension to that, because I had faced certain limitations or challenges in that particular model where I couldn't scale it up. And in order to make it scalable, we focused on, instead of CIO on demand, we said it's going to be techies on demand, right? So it's just the extension of that. That's what is the reflection.
So purely tech hiring is what we are in.
We focus on IT, even though the platform is capable of serving any kind of mandate that may come from any client. But our strong belief is that focus on area where we can add some value.
Right.
Because
are you hiring people from India and getting them placed in India only?
Right now our focus is purely India. We're also looking at the strong supply side that we have created within India. How can we extend that supply to the outside world, overseas customers, be it any geography, right? Because that's relevant for them.
Right.
So that's what we are thinking. But this model is something which is kind of replicable anywhere. It's a global model that is in place. It's just that we are operating in India today.
Right. And which industries are hiring techies the most as per you right now?
So our experience, tells us that there are, in the recent past, if I talk about last 12 months or so, we have seen major traction from two industries. One is the typical IT service industry, where obviously there's a lot of consumption, absolutely. The second one is the startup world. So today we have some of very good customers from the IT service sides as well as on the startup ecosystem, where we have customers from health tech, travel tech, ed tech, fintech. I mean, these are the domains in which we are serving some marquee customers.
Understood. And do you have a lot of relatively smaller bootstrap startups also that hire from you, or is it mostly those funded startups and bigger companies?
So I would say all, because each company has a different need actually. When you're looking at bootstrap startups, their major focus is to hire someone in their own team, right? Because they are looking at a fundamental solution. So they're looking at of a solution more of hiring on their own roles as in part of their team.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the funded startup, they are in a growth phase, right? So they have to achieve something very fast. In order to do so, they need quick ramp up and ability to quickly ramp down also, because they don't want to get highlighted otherwise, right?
Sure. So average, as of today, what is the duration of a techie in a company? Because techies we hear, they do keep shifting a lot.
Right. I think the times is changing, but let's talk about current times. So generally it used to be, if you look at maybe 5 years back or 5 to 8 years back, generally the tenure used to be 3 years. That used to be considered as a healthy time,
right,
spent. During the COVID time, the tenure, there was absolutely zero loyalty, I would say. So there was no definition of time. It was just who needed me, at what cost they were to hire me. And if I'm getting an incremental jump in my salary, I wouldn't care actually. I will just jump the ship. But time is changing now. I personally been working with some of our customers who've been clearly telling us in terms of mandate that we don't want to hire people who have changed jobs in the last 1 or 2 years, and someone who's looking at maybe 50, 60, 70% of a hike in terms of salary. So those mandates have started to come down from these corporates now, and that's going to change the whole situation, right?
I was coming to my next question was around the techie salaries, which not just COVID, even pre-COVID, let's talk about the 5, 7, 10 years before COVID also. We've always seen techies take like 100% jumps also. Like, from startup, there are some startup rounds that happen only to get some of the top 4 people in tech, and that's how they grow.
Right.
So why is it that techie salaries are so much like that, and is that going to change anytime soon?
So I think it depends on the environment in which we are operating. So you rightly said, more of such examples were visible in the startup world than the established large enterprises who are actually operating on those fundamentals on which they used to operate, and they have been operating from decades, right? The startup needed the talent, a quick access to the talent, and the only way to attract the talent for them was to pay them the salary that they could not think of even earning elsewhere, right? So that's the only way they could hire the talent. So that's how this whole thing came in picture, where people were jumping and getting 100% of high.
Startups and investments in India are only going to grow at a massive speed in the times to come. So do you think tech salaries are going to get even more bloated?
I would say this was true. If the current economic situation or the current situation that we see in the market today, if we had not seen that, because I completely agree with you, the startup is going to grow leaps and bounds, but at the same time, current times has taught the startups to kind of stay lean, number one. Number two, look at those fundamental issues of when you hire a talent, right? You don't want to become a startup who hires talent at a great speed and then let go these talent also, because then you're making it very, very difficult for your own company to attract talent in future.
Yeah.
So they don't want to commit that mistake again, right? So all this will happen, but it is going to happen in a very, very organic manner.
Do you think AI will play a decent role in bringing some neutralization in salaries? Because some part will get done by AI, and of course, you need those techies to use the AI tools properly and therefore deliver results like the no-code platforms that have come up. They're like innumerable editing and whatnot. Like you have like a shortcut for almost everything.
Correct.
Do you think that will help in neutralizing these salaries and making these techies sort of less wanted, how it has been, like
So
you said.
precisely two things will happen, right? And you are absolutely right in terms of salary neutralization because of the impact of the AI AI adoption in the enterprise or startup world. This will happen. What will happen is that, see, people who used to command very high salary were also capable people. Let's not forget that. Right?
Yeah.
Very, very capable people. But a lot of tasks which can be done through AI now, which can put a mediocre and a super intelligent person on maybe same ground, if that's the ability of AI in certain areas where it can be applied in such a way, these people will lose the edge,
Yeah.
obviously. So because then somebody else can do the work as effectively as they would have been doing, right? So that's where you will see the neutralization of salary in that case. The other places where there are a lot of tasks which can be replaced by AI today, which doesn't need any people, right? So they have to obviously upskill themselves, reskill themselves, and learn certain areas where they become important. Then any AI tool which could replace them easily, right? That's where they will get to learn, and then they will also have a potential of high earning, salary.
Right. Sure. Anything else, sir, that you would want to tell your viewers or your potential customers?
No, I think I would say that times are changing. Let's keep fundamentals in mind. One has to operate as a very, very lean team. Tough times have taught us. Let's not invite the tough times again by ignoring such things. And also keep an eye on on-demand economy, and also the current fundamentals of any business has to kind of step up in my mind, where it has to create a value for the other person.
Yeah.
So let's not consider the way things have been happening in a traditional manner, because AI is going to change the complete landscape.
Yeah.
The way we engage, right? The way we conduct the business, right? So a lot of impact there. So I think companies have to make sure that they don't fall prey of over hiring, excessive hiring, not hiring the right talent, or not hiring without kind of good solid checking in or verification that we are hiring this person for whatever purpose being hired, right? So that's where I would just give them a piece of advice, saying that take your decisions very, very fundamentally, and has to be a strong decision.
Great. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.